Okay, recording is active. So we'll start off with our reference. Please make sure your reference matches the orientation like mine. So if I press the space bar, click on Maya, go to front view, we're looking at front view, right view is right view, top view is top view. This one I don't explain again. Please go and watch the video on setting up the image references. Okay, so first we're going to start off by creating the cylinder, and a low resolution cylinder at that. So create a cylinder, go to the channel box, okay, go to inputs here, and we're going to reduce the number of subdivisions. For this one, I'm going to use, let's see, I think 10 should be sufficient. Okay, 10 subdivisions. The previous example I'm using 8, but for this one I'm using 10. Then I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. So holding down to J and then rotate it 90 degrees like that. Then of course I'm going to increase the height, or you can use scale. Press R to go to scale. Scale it up until it matches the dimensions of the airplane. All right. So right now we're just going to roughly block out the shape first by using inserting edge loops to create a bunch of subdivisions. Now before I proceed, I'm going to apply a freeze. All right, freeze transform, so that the the transforms or rotations are matching the world's orientation. So press W to move, and then move the aircraft body right until it matches the cylindrical shape like that. Then using scale again, we're going to scale it up. Okay, we're going to move it back and forth a bit until it matches the length. Okay, so for the diameter, we can increase the radius. You can still go over to the inputs radius to increase the diameter until it matches the entire shape like that. Okay, so I'm sure everybody can do this. This is not difficult. Okay, the next stage is we determine where we need to insert edge loops. Okay, so we're going to create a very simple blocking shape from this first. So we're going to use our shading X-ray to help us. First, use the multi-cut tool. Okay, inserting edge loop, you all should know by now. Go to multi-cut. Go hold down to Control, left mouse click over areas right where you see a transition in shape. So what do I mean by transition in shape? Where there is a change in the shape like that. So this one is a transition. This one over here is also a transition. There's a transition here, so it needs a edge loop here. So we're not going to put too many edge loops. For this example, I'm just going to put 2 for now. 1 edge loop here and 1 edge loop here. Once you have placed the edge loop, press Q to go to select, right mouse click, go to vertex mode, or you can use your modeling toolkit to choose vertex. Select the tail end vertices, and just press R to scale. Scale it down until it matches the size of the nozzle. Then we move on to the next row of vertices, or you can use edge loop also by double clicking on it, because we know that these are four-sided faces. Then just scale it down until it roughly matches the shape here. Okay, and then we're going to continue here. Double click, scale it down until it matches here. You'll notice that our cylinder is no longer following the shape. Doesn't matter, just need to scale down until it follows the transition, the change in transition. Then finally, the last row. Okay, the last row you need to select by vertices. Going to vertices, then scale it down until you match here. All right, so now we have this shape. Okay, very basic like that. But you notice that the center part should be thicker, right? So we go back to our right view. We need to insert one more edge loop at the thickest part of the model, which is right about here. So we need to insert one edge loop right about here. Press Q to select. Go to edge mode, double click. You can also go to vertex, doesn't matter. Both will work, just drag over them. Press R, scale, and then just keep on scaling until it reaches to the top here. Okay, something is wrong here. I think, I don't know why I think I accidentally unscaled it. Okay, so right now we have our basic shape. Okay, so in order to keep this simple, next we are going to work with the wings. All right, so this is our basic blocked shape. Okay, let me go to my channel box. Where is my, wait, let me press Control A. I seem to have lost my layer editor. Yeah, my layer editor is gone. Okay, never mind. Let me just go and change my. It seems that my. Yeah, is it this one? Oh yeah, okay. So I just happen to miss this part here. So there's a dotted line here we can grab. So I just want to temporarily, no, actually not temporarily. I want to freeze or reference my reference, so I will not accidentally select them. Okay, so now I got this shape. Next, I want to work on creating the wing. All right. So for the wing, you can start by creating a cube. All right. And we will just work on one wing first. Go to the top view. Okay, move the cube right until it is at the beginning of where the wing is coming out from. All right. Then press R to scale. Scale it up until you get this shape like that. A long, thin part like this. Then go to the side view, move the cube until it is at the side of this aircraft. Okay, so of course you know by now, before we pull out the shape to form the wing, we have to subdivide it. So go to the right view again, and we need at least let's see, 2 subdivisions at least. Okay, 2 subdivisions right on this cube, so that you can pull out the shape of the wing. Okay, so use your multi-cut tool. I'm going to insert one edge loop here and one edge loop in the center here by middle mouse clicking. Okay, this is all you need to create the wing, right? Like that. Just a simple shape like this. Okay, so how do you reshape the wing? So go to edit mode. Okay, grab these vertices. Press W and bring it all the way to the back where the wing is starting to appear. Then the beginning of the wing, you just bring these vertices all the way here. Then grab this vertex here, push it up. Remember, you want to create a airfoil shape, okay, for the wing. So I'm going to grab these vertices and then bring it down here. So we create the very basic shape of the wing already. Okay, maybe this edge here, these 2 edges here. Okay, or you can select vertex, I think easier. If you are used to selecting vertex on the side, just going to push this back out like that. Push this back out like that. Okay, we transform our cube right basically into the wing shape already, just like that. Okay, and I'm going to reuse this. Remember just now that video was saying, I'm going to reuse this shape right for my vertical stabilizer. Okay, so, or the tail fin, this part here. So to do that, I'm going to clone it. So with it selected, holding down the shift and move, grab the move arrow and you can clone. And I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees vertically. Holding down the J, rotate it 90 degrees like that. Scale it down. Okay, scale it down and then go to the right view. We're going to move this smaller section for the wing and then we're just going to plant it within here. Then we're going to scale it up until the length right matches the shape of the tail plane. Alright, so but the center position is incorrect, so we're going to go to the top view, press W to move, and then position it at the tail plane. So you can see that we are more or less matching the location. The only thing that is not so correct is that it's not very symmetrical. Okay, we can fix that quickly by using the scaling tool. So grab these row of vertices over here, the center vertices. Okay, use scale. Okay, and then to center it. Then these 2, use scale to line them up together. Right now I'm just eyeballing. I'm not using any mirror here. Okay, so just manually moving the vertices until it matches my reference. Okay, select these 2 vertices, just drag. Okay, go over vertex mode on the object. Okay, the object is now hidden inside. I have to go and select it. Go to top view, shift right mouse click on it until you go to vertex mode. Then drag a box over this group of vertices, shift and select this group of vertices. Use scale to scale it down. So in other words, right, you can see that I'm just working on one part at a time. So for some students, right, you might find that this method is easier. So now you can see I got the body that was built from a cylinder. I've got the wing that is built from a cube. And then we got the tail fin that is also built from a cube. From now onwards, right, we can just select this face, these faces, and we can do a quick extrude, or we extrude it out until it reaches the wingtip. Okay. In fact, if you do not want to extrude, you can just simply move the faces until it reaches the wingtip like that. Okay. Then you can use scale. Okay. Use scale, right? You can scale it uniformly first. Okay, because we know that it's tapering from the front view as well. Then press W and have it match the strap back. Okay, what about this area here? Okay, we first move the root of the wing until it intersects the body, until it cuts into the body. Then we can insert one edge loop here, right where there's a transition, where there's this curve here. Press Q to select, grab this tail vertex section, press W, and then move it up here like that. Okay, so I'm not even going to go into the subdivision mode because I know the subdivision is not going to look that great. Now we got one wing done. Now we can select this piece here, and we can select the top face. Okay, right now I need to scale this up vertically, non-uniformly like this. So go to the right view, right mouse click, go to vertex, grab this whole row of vertices, press W to move, and then just move them up. Then use scale to scale them inwards, then push it back. So for some of you, you might find that this method is easier because our previous model, right, all these parts, right, are basically pulled out from the same cylinder, and I think some of you are finding it very confusing. So now we have three distinct parts. Okay, I'm going to taper this down because the top is usually scaled down a little bit. Okay, now how do we mirror the wing to the other side? Now please take note, this wing, right, the center point is here. So if I want a wing, right, to mirror exactly over the other side, there are a couple of ways we can do this. We can use a tool that I haven't shown you guys yet, which is the mirror geometry. Okay, I think it is under mesh. Yeah, there you go. Under mesh, right, there is this tool called mirror. So this is different than the duplicate special or the edit symmetry tool that you have used to. Okay, so how do you use that tool? Okay, so since we got one wing here that we need to mirror over, we have to just select the wing and take note of the pivot point here. The pivot point is right now here, not here. Okay, so we can go and apply mesh and then mirror. Now before you mirror, click on the option box first and make sure that we are mirroring the correct axis, which is the X, which is correct. And do I want to combine with the original? Maybe not. Okay, and then I will try to mirror, and there is an offset option, right, available for you. Okay, but I'm not going to use that first, and we see what happens. Let's go and mirror, and you can see that actually it does a pretty good job. And the mirror, right, it actually, and it also give you the options here. All right, apparently, right, it mirrors based on the world axis, so that is good. So it managed to mirror the wing nicely for me. Okay, so now that I got these three parts, okay, let me turn off the shading so you can see a little bit clearer. Then now we can just focus on working on each part until you get it to look right. Okay, then the next step, right, will involve boolean the objects together. But when you boolean, right, you also create some issues. Okay, so let me just demonstrate to you. Let's say I want to boolean this tail fin with this body. That means I want to union them together. So select the tail fin, shift select the body. Okay, and then we're going to apply a boolean. You can go to the modeling toolkit. Okay, and then you can choose boolean. All right, and then choose union, which is the default action. Then we can click away. And you'll notice that now we have created a object, right, that's been blended together. But you can see that there's some issues with the topology. You can see they created a multi-sided face here and here. Okay, so that will involve us trying to fix the topology. So let me just show you from this example. I will have to go and select this edge, press Ctrl Delete to get rid of it. Same for this edge here. Okay, the edge is gone. Okay, apparently it's the same edge. I will have to maybe join these two vertices using connect. Okay, the connect doesn't work. Let me see. Connect, it doesn't want to work. Okay, let me see what happens here. Double click on this. It's actually welded together already. Okay, let me select all the faces here. So these are the things that Boolean, right? Sometimes the union will cause the problem. Okay, so it doesn't want to cooperate, so I want to just brute force, right? Use multi-cut to cut from this point here to this point here, and then press enter. And it doesn't, still doesn't want to allow me. Okay, so I think maybe it's this something wrong with this face instead. So I'm going to delete away this face. Okay, and I will have to go and rebuild this whole area. So that is the troublesome part about using this method. So I'm going to select these two opposing edges, and then I have to use the bridge. Then I'll have to slowly go and patch up the hole because I need to have a good topology. All right. So from this one, I will insert one edge loop here, middle edge loop here on the top here, so that I can combine this edge or bridge this edge together. I'm going to end up with some triangular faces, but I'll have to go and spend some time, like for example this one here, there's a hole here. Double click, shift right mouse click, fill hole. Double click the edge here, shift right mouse click, fill hole. And we'll go back to the back here. I'm going to split this edge here using a multi-cut tool. Just temporarily split this into two triangles first, so that I have two edges, right, that I can cover up here. Press Q to go to select these two opposing edges and bridge. Then finally double click to select this hole, shift right mouse click and fill hole. So you can see that you have to go through a lot of edits, right, in order to fix everything to become like four-sided, right? And then finally, I think this one, this edge here, I can delete away, Control Delete, because I want this to be four-sided. All right. Okay, so now I've successfully joined. I still got a triangular face over here, but I will try to find a way to get rid of it later on. Okay, I found a way, that is to get rid of it first. Get rid of this one first, because the edge is too extreme. So I'll insert one edge loop here. Okay, so you can see that there's a multi-sided face over here. This multi-sided face over here. So the edge loop didn't cut over. But the rationale for me to insert one edge loop here is so that I can join these two vertices. And I think the connect should work now. Yes, it does. Select these two and then press G, repeat the connect. So right now everything is nice and four-sided, so that I'm quite confident that if I press number 3 to subdivide it, right, yeah, it will have very nice topological flow. Okay. So as you know by now, if you want the top here to have a harder edge, because if I press number 3, it is soft like that, you just need to insert one edge loop close to the top, not this one, like this, and then you press number 3, then you can have a hard edge looking like that. Okay, so that's how you join the vertical fin, right, to the body. You can see that if you use Boolean, right, it involves quite a lot of work. All right. Now, same thing for the wing. If you want to join the wing to the body, okay. Now, I do not want to show you the process because it's going to take some time. But this is basically the gist of using this method, right, to create 3D models. You basically block out the model first in separate parts, then you Boolean weld them together, okay, and then Boolean weld them together and then fix the topology. All right, so that is the way you do it. All right, so I'm going to stop the video now, and hopefully this will give you another alternative method, right, to approach your modeling. Now, of course, if you do not plan to press number 3 to go into subdivision mode, then you don't have to do all this retopo business, okay? But if your client, okay, next time if your boss requires you to join all the pieces together and it needs to have good topology, then you have to perform what I've demonstrated over here. All right. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording for this. Otherwise, the video will be too long.